WrestlePod is supported by viewers like you. To support WrestlePod and the other programs on this channel, visit patreon.com/Ian Beaumont live and direct. The final of the tag team title tournament has been set up, and we've got a women's battle royal. All that and the rest of the action from episode 5 of World of Sport Wrestling coming up next on WrestlePod. From Ian Beaumont live and direct, this is WrestlePod. Welcome along, Ian Beaumont here, good to be with you once again as we review episode 5 of WOS Wrestling. And I have to say, this is probably my least favourite episode so far. And that's not to say it was a bad episode. I just didn't like some of the things that happened. So, let's get underway and talk about the first match on the card, which was the first semi-final in the World of Sport Tag Team Title Tournament. Austin Reese and Kip Sabian taking on Stevie Boy and BT Gunn. Gotta say, actually, this was probably the longest match on the card. So strange to go on first. But in that sense as well, also a little bit unusual in terms of actual setup. It felt like it was trying to tell more story than perhaps it really needed to. That's just a feeling I have. Reese and Sabian jump the gun, literally. They attack Steve Boy and BT Gunn before the bell even rings, and match gets underway pretty quickly. After that, one of my favourite spots of the night, you have BT Gunn and Stevie Boy bouncing off the ropes together, through the ropes, double suicide dive, double tope suicida, as what was he called? Mauro Ranallo might call it. To the outside, that was insane. That was probably the most insane spot of the night. And then we had Gunn doing a flapjacking Boy onto Sabian for a 2 count. We've seen that move in their previous first round match as well. Again, that got a 2 count. Sabian, though, to be fair, Kip Sabian and Austin Reese are pretty impressive guys. Sabian is the smaller guy, the yapper, as I call him, the big mouth. Reese is just the big guy, and he is big, and you can't teach that. But they have a good combination. To be fair with you, they have a really good combination going there. And Sabian actually hits like a slingshot leg drop. He literally slings himself over the top rope, drops the leg, gets a long 2 count on Stevie Boy. Really surprised me. I wasn't expecting that one to be quite so long, but when the hands really started coming down for the 3, I thought, Oh, that's the finish? No, it wasn't. But it caught me for a second there. For a split second, I honestly thought that was going to be the finish. Uh, really long match, this one. Really long. The end sequence, again, BT Gunn tags in after the heels have worked over Stevie Boy for a long time. They work him over brilliantly in that sense. So Gunn gets the hot tag, House of Fire, as per normal. Gunn hits what I have to call a second rope slingshot spear onto Sabian. Still only gets a 2 count, and I'm thinking, God, that should have been a 3 right there. But Reese and Sabian hit their variation on the Devastation device for the 3 count. They qualify for the final next week. Who will they face? We will find out later. Rachel Sterling got a fair amount more work this time. Usually she's in one segment. This time she was part of 2. She had a little short backstage interview with Adam Maxted and Nathan Cruz just before the break, first break of the evening. Cruz did all the talking. Maxted, well, almost all the talking. Maxted just said, and we look damn good. The kind of narcissist gimmick that he has been. Good enough. It worked. It got them over. But it was almost a babyface promo, which was a little weird. After the break, Rachel is out at ringside talking to Gabriel Kidd, who you can see is all taped up around the lower part of the ribs. He's not 100%, but he's going to take part, perhaps ill-advisedly, in a 3-way match with Liam Slater and Crater. Now, Kidd and Slater come out first. Crater comes out last, but stays outside the ring. He doesn't want to get in the ring. He just says, you guys start. I'll just wait here, sort of thing, without saying a word. And what we get for a few minutes is a masterclass in old school British wrestling style. Absolutely brilliant to see. And Kidd and Slater have a nice opportunity to just show off a little bit of their talents without Kratos deciding to interfere. At one point, Kidd tries to kind of spear Slater. Slater ducks out the way. He goes through the second rope to the floor, sees Crater, and just whoop, straight back in. He didn't want any part of the big man, and the big man didn't try to do anything at that point. Of course he would. He would step into the match. Then we had a nice little sequence of the two, of Slater and Kidd, taking on the big man, and actually that kind of worked quite well for a while. I mean, it certainly didn't get him off his feet, but they got some advantage over him. But double choke slam, that, and then a move I don't know what it's called, but I will describe it as what I consider to be an inverted Razor's Edge. Crater has Slater up in the Razor's Edge starting position, but instead of just driving his shoulders straight down to the canvas, he actually flips Slater over. So instead of landing shoulders first to the mat, he lands front to the mat, which the only way I can describe it is I think it's an inverted Razor's Edge or flipped Razor's Edge, but bloody good. Very impressive move, that one from Crater. He's not mobile, never will be, but a move like that is probably going to sell him much better than anything else. So that was quite impressive. Really like that. Kratos splashes both of them. Kids got his shoulders to the mat like that. Then Kratos drops Slater on top, but he drops him front chest to chest, so that in effect Slater is pinning Kid. The referee should have gone down for the 1, 2, 3 there. But Kratos comes off, hits the splash, pins Kid through Slater. Not sure how that worked. It was a little bit weird, that one. But he gets declared the winner for the 3 count. I suppose it's just, don't want to anger the big man. So, yeah. It was a decent enough match. I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was particularly special, but I did like the fact that we had, for at least a few minutes, a good old masterclass in British-style wrestling. That was well worth watching. After the break, we got our second semi-final in the WOS Tag Team Title Tournament. All the teas. Tea time. Adam Max and Nathan Cruz taking on Grado and British Bulldog. I thought I knew what was coming here. I thought, Grado and Bulldog will get the win and we'll get heel face at next week for the final. And probably then Grado and Bulldog will win. That's not what happened. Bulldog and Cruz start the match. Actually, very impressive, those two. Nathan Cruz, I hadn't really seen him much before this, but he has impressed me with everything I've seen him do in World of Sport Wrestling. He is excellent. Bulldog looks dominant in the early going. Maxted kind of gets tagged in at one point, but he's just showing off a bit too much, gets caught. I must admit, one spot that I did like, Grado and Bulldog hitting a double hip toss, followed by a double elbow. Oh, yeah, dropping that elbow. Getting a 2 count. Towards the end of the match, Grado does a leapfrog, bad one, and he tweaks his left knee whilst he, on landing. So we know what was coming here. It's an injury angle being played. The heels kind of take over control here. Cruz puts Grado into a figure 4. Grado taps out. But in the meantime, during that last bit of the match, there was a little bit of dissension in the ranks between Cruz and Maxted. Cruz desperately wanted to win the match at all costs. Maxted was sort of now having second thoughts about that. It was like, no, I don't really want to win this way. So it looks like it's kind of teasing you'll have a heel, proper heels versus dissension heels with dissension in the ranks. And I'm fully expecting next week that Yestin Reese and Kip Sabian will come out as your brand new WOS Tag Team Champions. But we'll see. That match will be next week. So the last match of the night goes to the Women's Championship Battle Royal. That's your main event. We thought it was 4. In fact, it turned out to be 5. 5 women in the ring because you had the champ, Kaylee Ray, Viper, Bea Priestley, Aisha, who got introduced last week, and then we had a new competitor who we hadn't met before called Casey Owens. She's from Belfast. They're calling her the Belle of Belfast. Good name, that, actually. That kind of works. It was quite entertaining, but not in the way I'd want it to be entertaining. I mean, bell rings, everybody starts attacking everybody else. Kaylee Ray almost gets eliminated straight off the bat. Almost. She has to hang on for dear life. Kind of the Shawn Michaels spot at the end of Royal Rumble 95, I think it was, where he hangs on when the British Bulldog thinks he's eliminated him. But that was very much, but yeah, it was kind of an interesting spot to do it so early, though. I wasn't so keen on. Everybody gets the shots in on everybody else in each of the corners, which I thought was kind of interesting. I mean, Viper like cannonballing out everybody. Casey Owens, lots of strikes and kicks. First one eliminated was Casey Owens. Aisha, who, to be honest, she's about 6'3" or something, and she's around 180 pounds. She's massive. So she throws Casey Owens over the top rope. Viper eliminates B. Priestley, and then you have a little setup with the two of them. And this happened a couple of times in the match. The two of them kind of squaring off and facing off. And having a little bit of a go at each other. I think there's a match there. Probably for about a couple of weeks down the line. Maybe to set up a number one contendership. Who knows? Definitely, though, there was something interesting there in that kind of dynamic. Aisha's 180, Viper's 209. That's a hell of a combination there. And they look the business, so damn, I see a number one contenders match between those two. I see a number one contenders match between those two coming up very soon. But yeah, Aisha and Viper do look very good as powerhouses of the women's division. The other girls are between like 110 and 130. These two are like, 180 and 209. It's like, that should be, I think, as I say, I think that's 2 episodes, maybe not next week, but maybe 2 episodes down the line. Those two face off in a number one contenders match. That'd be interesting. Aisha kind of either throws herself or gets thrown over the top rope. Not too sure. But then Viper throws Kaylee Ray into Aisha, so knocking her off the apron, and she's down to the floor. She's out of the match. Viper gets thrown out over the top rope, lands on the apron. Kaylee Ray hits a super kick to retain. Woo! Yeah. It was an okay match. It wasn't a great match by any standards. I think I would have to give, the match is concerned, I think the first one has to be 3 stars. The first semi-final of the tag team tournament, that's 3 stars. Kid, Slater, and Crater, I have to give it 2.5, just for the little showcase bit. at the beginning. That was amazing. The tag teams, the second semi-final, I could give that 2 stars. Wasn't overly impressed by that. And the battle was, I'm going to have to give that only 2 stars as well out of 5. It was a decent enough match, but I just didn't feel, it kind of teased the meal with Aisha and Viper, but it didn't really, I don't think they were really crisp enough yet. But that's my thoughts. What do you think on this episode of WOS Wrestling? Whatever your thoughts, drop something down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Next week on World of Sport Wrestling, as I said, we have the Tag Team Tournament Final to crown the new WOS Tag Team Champions. Will it be Iestine Reese and Kip Sabian, as I'm expecting? Or will Adam Maxted and Nathan Cruz get it together and win? We'll find out. Also next week, British Bulldog Jr. gets a World of Sport Championship match against Rampage. Wow. Okay. I'm looking forward to that one. And then Joe Hendry versus Martin Kirby. The two of them will go at it in a submission match. Oh boy. That should be fun. Thank you very much for watching. Support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Ian Beaumont Live and Direct. And like WrestlePod on Facebook, facebook.com/WrestlePod, IBLND. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time, stay sharp, stay tuned.